drop, not only for regular season, but here in the playoffs as well. And if they win this map here, not only do they go to the Gauntlet, not only do they go to the Grand Finals for NA East, but that means that they have still yet to drop a single map or series.
Which is wild. But of course, that sort of NA immortality might not hold up in international competition. Fusion Uni wasn't a fan of losing either, until they were.
But they did also drop a lot more maps. So phase 2 here on the entry plane. The May Reaper going to look to rotate here through the hotel side, try to get in. See the wall being used to break LOS. A10 forcing that race a little bit early.
Phase 2 definitely being a little bit expedient, but it works against them. Astro fighting the Reaper with the aid of the rest of his team. Again, one thing that really is putting Atlanta on top is not just Sugar Free. The damage coming in from Gator and Astro, the tank and support role, is really overwhelming.
Very early rate there for A10 as well. It shows the value on these setup fights and why there's so much more song and dance here to the setup. In this particular meta with the Orisa May Reaper is that if you use a cooldown early like the Wraith, you can get picked very quickly.
Hawk has also been really good at eating ults as it's moved over. It's been removing the ability to get comboed in any way, shape, or form. And all right, Gator, a little bit of danger right now. Pops a fortify, not enough. A10 able to cleave on through. May, Sox got a really good position to set up A10, who finishes off with 3.
Sox and A10 finding a lot of value. Hawk will find one, but everyone's getting cleaned up here. Hawk's gonna get back for the back, but it is slowly, surely just going their way. Saucy actually gonna invest the Blizzard as well. They're deciding to invest that. He'll freeze the tanks, but he's gonna get cleaned up. Now Atlanta don't have a Blizzard.
Why? Just why in the world? The fight's over. You can use that Blizzard, good use on point B choke. And this is a situation where I think it was likely that Saucy was about to swap. And maybe just swap to cover your tracks there, because that Blizzard just was not the way to go.
Yeah, it was very late. I mean, there could have been a small chance for Atlanta beating there, but it definitely wasn't right then. Early supercharge using for Salt Shaker, and based on how he's reacting, pretty sure that's a fat finger. Pretty sure that was not. And also the cart kills supercharger, so the cart just ran it over. So not only did he accidentally use the supercharger, but the cart just killed the supercharger.
Oh, you know, it's just kind of what they said. We'll spot you. You should have used Blizzard. You should have used supercharger. We're even. Honorable. Overwatch proceeds. Nice bomb. Rugged wall back over the top. Doesn't quite get value. Sugar Free. Death Blossoms near the library. Shift his way over to the pub. A drink for his sorrows there after doesn't get really anything. And A10 continuing to be the rock here for phase 2 as they just cleave through Atlanta.
Phase 2 finding a much better engager. Sugar Free, he drops behind while the bomb comes out. He was waiting for that D.Va bomb to come out. And the D.Va was not there to eat it, but he was also so far away from the rest of the phase 2 team that couldn't really get anybody anyways. Phase 2 had already won the engage with the Blizzard before that. Pika gonna go back, reset. Coming back here on the D.Va does not want to be staggered. Now Atlanta, they have the chance here to enter into the fight. About to have Blizzard again, though as I say that, bye-bye to Kodak, a lot of heals gone.
Icicle on target, Atlanta down 1 already. The speed run continues. A10 moves forward, drops Death Blossom into the back. Gets the Orisa down immediately. Pika in danger, Coalescence. We're not going to be in time. Sugar Free starting to bring this back. Atlanta, they drop the beat, they move on forward. The Blizzard, it's kind of preemptive. It zones phase 2 off the point, though. And Atlanta trying to fight this one back. They lose Pilot to the Sugar Free goes that back, another Death Blossom. This time gets the Lucio.
Still, phase 2, they're in the fight. Pika's gonna get the remech as well. And you see Sox is getting close to the Blizzard. Atlanta, they're pretty drained on the ults, and even though they're down 1, Sugar Free's behind. He's not helping the team. He's not really stopping anyone right now. He's gonna take the duel, the Reaper duel. He's got to leave now.
Fighting this time in the back. Atlanta still delaying, but here comes the Blizzard, and now they gotta stay on that point. They get off even for a second, they lose point B, and that's exactly what's gonna happen here. The Blizzard in a well-placed spot. And really, I think there's a key point of difference between the two teams right now. Sox has been playing a much better May.
Sox's May has been spectacular. Even A10's Reaper as well has definitely been a little bit of a Sugar Free on this map. I think they're just getting consistently more value. Doesn't really matter if you drop a Lucio in this fight, unless they're really going to walk away from the ult to lose a beat. Teams can stay in that fight for that long, and phase 2 managed to stay in there.
Atlanta taking their time on the next setup. Phase 2, they are a little bit drained. You have to think for A10. Verticality is going to be the name of the game here. Death Blossom ready, and they open up the Supercharge. So they're looking for the poke game. Atlanta, supercharger of their own. Takes out a bit. Here comes A10. Over. Death Blossom. Not quite getting as much, but feedback might be enough. Saucy drops the Blizzard, but again, the Blizzard not really where it needs to be.
I mean, phase 2, they just split, and they still hadn't forced any of those cooldowns for phase 2. Not only were Atlanta split, they weren't really positioned to actually follow up on the Blizzard. None of the cooldowns were forced for phase 2. They hadn't removed any of the movement abilities. They hadn't actually corralled anyone into a position that was easy to kill. So now phase 2, the cart is continuing to move. They're getting more and more ults. Atlanta, they're gonna have to stop the push here now that they have to beat the bomb.
Back over. Self-destruct. It's pretty high to start things out here. The back. Buys a little bit of space. Lets Atlanta get back on the point, but Sugar Free's down! Lose the Reaper. Freeze down on the other side. Hawk able to get to the back, but once more the Blizzard.
This is huge!
Big Sox continuing to be the master of ice. And that's enough for phase 2. One good Blizzard after the other, leading the way for phase 2 to skate on through to a quick time on Kings Row.
And you notice how phase 2, when they took that engagement, they went aggressively and they used the bomb to force all these early cooldowns again from Atlanta. And that is when Sox sets up the Blizzard. It's the flow chart. It's the flow chart. And phase 2, they've clearly pulled out the flow chart. They've been reading the flow chart. They've been studying the flow chart. Okay, cooldown's gone. Now Blizzard pretty good. But Atlanta, maybe I have to up the reading comprehension here. Look again at the flow chart.
And I think we narrowed it down when talking about mid-game, but really, key points of comparison. A10 was fighting Sugar Free very evenly. I think even had an edge to a significant degree at certain points in the match. But more than anything else, Atlanta drops Blizzard, I sleep. Phase 2 drops Blizzard, it's real.
Yeah, I have to say, good use of the meme. I'm gonna give you a 10 out of 10 there. A 10 out of 10 for meme users there, ZP. You're gonna get a gold star at the fridge.
I mean, from you, that's from the master himself. I'll take those.
Very well done. Well, I can't wait to see how you get into intermediary memeing at the rate you're going.
Graduation into intermediary memes. Little did I ever know. But Atlanta, still very capable of bringing this back. We've seen them speed run on Kings Row before, but they're going to be running out of mirror comp here once more. And from what we just saw, phase 2 was significantly better at it here in the streets of Kings Row.
They have been looking a lot more consistent, a lot more coordinated. Also, something to know is that Nishik's on the Ana. Nishik will be playing Ana here. So they don't have that Moira for all that insane burst healing at a close range for that early coalescence, but they do have the ability to not only play Nishik very far back where it's tough for him to get pressured, but to look for antis and look for sleeps. As I say that though, he's just going to drop, but now he's actually playing closer to the front line anyway.
Well, see how Atlanta's going to set this up, and Atlanta's setup is run directly at him. Not a lot of subtlety. They drop the wall to the back, prevent retreat, and they take down Saltshaker. The tank focus is there from the front line, immediately decimated, and the whole W strat is pretty effective for Atlanta.
Well, I mean, it's the value of playing Moira into Ana for very fast fights is that you are just going to out-heal them. You are going to get more utility overall. You're going to get that coalescence very quickly. And if Nishik isn't going to play the high ground and look for antis and nades and play close to the ground, then phase 2 probably had to back up a bit. They had to be a lot more careful because Atlanta don't have to fear because there's not a lot of damage for phase 2. So Atlanta's going to take first there, a pretty fast time. They already have the coalescence. Nishik now going to swap to Moira, be behind. And Atlanta just have another fight where they can engage early with coalescence. They have that early advantage.
If Atlanta can continue making use of their advantage, they've set a very quick time so far, well over 5 minutes here. Point B. Lessons can be invested early, phase 2. Trying to work around it, eating a lot of damage in the process. A10 a bit isolated. Same for Saltshaker. Saltshaker not killed yet, library alive. Death Blossom invested here, but Sugar Free takes down his counterpart. And this Blizzard, a little bit better here from Sox, gonna seal the rest of the fight. Sugar Free just continues the rampage.
Yeah, Saucy's Blizzard there was a lot better than usual, but now, look at the time that phase 2 burned. They burned off a little bit of time with the clock there. They forced the Blizzard, they forced the Death Blossom. And they're going to have to re-enter this next fight. They're going to have a Blizzard. They're probably going to have Death Blossom of their own pretty soon.
Pika's really staggered though. Pika's not going to be in a good position here. Maybe just barely inside of the cart by the time the cart's just about there. And when you're under pressure, this is how a D.Va gets a really good bomb setup.
For phase 2, they're probably going to have to just... The only thing they have to worry about here is he double tangled for Atlanta. You see, they drop the supercharger, break the shield. There's the bomb to get rid of the supercharger.
Charger down. But not much else. Blizzard right in the middle of it here from Sox.
And look at the cooldowns. They just run out of it. They saved all their cooldowns. Well played from Atlanta.
And Sox gets punished. Sox used the ice block to get in for the Blizzard just to begin with. And Atlanta, now they can turn the tide. There's Coalescence. Astro waiting in the wings with the beats. Gonna move on forward. Saltmaker eating so much damage on all sides. Coalescence gonna seal the deal. Sugar Free. Charge it on in with Death Blossom. Gets one more. And Atlanta setting an even quicker time here on point B.
In phase 2, they get back to the cart, but they're a little overzealous. They're a little bit overzealous there with their ults. They were hoping that they get value for the Mail there because while Hawk was bombing, they throw out the Blizzard. But all of Atlanta Academy, they've read the flowchart now. They've clearly consulted the flowchart at the time because they saved the cooldown and just exited the Blizzard.
Speaking of flowcharts, the phase 2 flowchart is, we're getting rolled. What do we do? Go Bastion. Also, remember to get on the point this time.
And now I would say this, generally I would say this strat's great. This strat's actually pretty inventive and interesting. But when you look at Atlanta's ult, Hawk's gonna have another bomb to take everyone off this high ground, and they're not playing for peace. They don't have an immortality shield.
So you might have a moving castle, but there's artillery waiting in the wings. There's a reason why castles stop being used. Here comes the bomb. The cannon shot's fired over the top, takes down the Bastion. Exactly what Hawk was looking for. And now here comes the Blizzard. Saucy, look for a little bit of icy redemption on the left side. That's it. They can't stay on the point.
That was brutal from Atlanta on Kings Row. You said, wow, phase 2, incredible offense. And Atlanta's like, we'll show you an offense there. And that's exactly what they do. They make sure the May wall is removed. As soon as the May wall's down, again, after they spam that and remove that, then they set up the bomb. Even if it only gets one member or no members, it forced all phase 2 off the high ground and put Saucy in a position where he can use the Blizzard because they'd forced cooldowns early.
I mean, Atlanta just kind of looks disdainfully down phase 2. So it's like, all that for a drop of blood is what we just saw there.
That is exactly what we saw. It's that pathetic. And now, Atlanta, they're going to be on this defense first because they did have the higher time bank. It's going to be phase 2 once again on the offense. And Atlanta looking a lot better on this composition as the series has gone on.
Now phase 2, I mean, you want to talk about just mental booms going off left, right, and center. Normally, you get 2:15 time on Kings Row. You're feeling good. That's a big boost. I think all those good vibes have just been washed away by what just happened on the last round.
Phase 2, I mean, they might be putting ATL on the McCree. I doubt he'll be sticking with it. They've been playing a lot of Reaper. Reaper was good for them on the offense, but they might stick with it here. As this is a severe matchup once again on Kings Row. There's the Halt, not really catching anybody. And it is A10 going back to the Reaper. They won't be playing the McCree. I doubted they were going to be playing that. As now phase 2, look for the entry. We have to watch these cooldowns. We have to see who is getting isolated first, who's using the Wraith, the Ice Block, etc.
Right now, phase 2, they have no time to waste. A10 gets super low, somehow able to get out of the fire. Atlanta, well healed up phase 2. The aggressor, the Hulk comes in, pulls them all together. Excellent by Saltshaker. Finishing a super early Coalescence. Phase 2 coming out firing. That's going to be about as quick of a point A take as you can get.
Another very fast take for phase 2. And once again, you look at just that poke. Phase 2 had a lot better poke there. You see Atlanta try to catch them on the rotation, but Sugar Free used that Wraith early, and then A10 felt no pressure. Because when the opposing Reapers use Wraith in a neutral fight, you can take them, you can take the fighting pressure into them, and then you always can't escape. There's nothing the enemy Reaper can really do to punish you.
Now, one key difference between the two fights here, 2 rounds, Saucy goes Blizzard for the Reaper test here at the gate. They get here to use Blizzard, quite built, Gator. They're at the punish. Blizzard in for phase 2 first. Down goes Saucy, not going to be able to use Blizzard here either. And Sox continuing to find room into the back. This is exactly what phase 2 needs to do. I have any hope of keeping their playoff dream alive.
We're going to use the Coalescence here as well. I don't think this is at all necessary. This fight was done. But it guarantees it and makes sure that all of Atlanta are going to get cleaned up. Phase 2, for the amount of time they had here, not only taking first, which can sometimes, especially in a comp like this where the fights take a while, not only are they taking first, but they're continuing forward into second. They're going to take this all the way in. It's the last fight now. Atlanta, they have the Blizzard. They know Sox does not. And then for them, they really need to be looking to set up Saucy here. They need to look to set up Saucy. They need to get that pressure onto Pika.
All coming on out, Saucy holding on to the Blizzard, lays it on over. Matata point, this one's good. Saltshaker frozen on out. Atlanta swarming onto the point. Step up, could be the topping. It was a well-laid plan. Atlanta stops it here, point B. Now phase 2. They're gonna have to hold him for a long time here, Avast. 4 minutes and 24 seconds. They can't let the payload get any further.
We're gonna have to see a clinic for phase 2. We're gonna have to see a much better defense, because looking at their first 2-point defenses from last round, or their last defense, it was not good. It was not at all good.
To be clear, it really wasn't a defense.
No.
On the last phase 2 attempt to defend. It was just very, very quick and one-sided.
And I have to say, it was, I don't know how Salt Shaker got his fortified force so early there on that last contest, but he didn't have it up for the Blizzard, which was a huge fight, huge reason for that fight, because if you can't walk out of the Blizzard, then you're just a sitting target, even with the beat. But now Atlanta, they are going to be on the offense, a little under 4.5 minutes, just to get it a little bit through Streets phase. Phase 2 with their season on the line, we're going to have to see some hero plays.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
The mountain in front of phase 2, very intimidating, likely insurmountable, and yet it is a path they must tread. Atlanta, well, for Atlanta so far, it was Tuesday. Just another day at the office. But this time, a little bit of an extra reward, because should they get this to the end, they're going to find themselves not only in the grand finals, but also heading to South Korea later in the year.
And remember, if Atlanta wins this map here, not only are they going to grand finals, not only if they're going to Korea, but that means they're still undefeated for both map score and match score.
Well, that's a good start for phase 2. It's not going to be a quick roll that Atlanta had before, and I think this is exactly what phase 2 needs to do. Be aggressive.
They have to get as much time off the clock as possible. And first is a great place to do it, because they can take these very aggressive fights. They can back up as long as they save their amp. And they can even get a recontest if possible.
So step 1 complete with phase 2, but there's more steps yet to go. They dropped the wall early. A10 looking for any pressure under those that have been caught. Lessons though, built super early from Kodak. Heals Atlanta back up, turns the tides of battle. Fishing. Lessons of his own, able to burn down Saucy. But it's 5 versus 5 right now. Lucio down. Off from the other end, Kodak. Rotating around with Atlanta. Gator being a little bit aggressive. Immediately moves back under heavy fire. The wall stopping his retreat, but Gator's just getting healed up all the while.
And the Blizzard's eaten. Hawk eats the Blizzard. Oh, wait, no. That was. No, it was the Blizzard. It's the UI bug. It's the UI bug.
Sugar free. Back the other way. Bomb. Up over against 2. That was phase 2's own ice ball. That Hawk's bomb bounced off of.
And Hawk has been the hero here on first, despite the UI attempting to trick me. It lets us know, without all doubt, Hawk lets us know he is the one that has brought them forward here. That is first going the way of Atlanta. And look at the ult bank for Atlanta as well. Phase 2, they attempted to use both of those DPL slots, the Blizzard and the Death Blossom. And now Atlanta, Hawk has 50% to another bomb. He just used bomb. He has 50% to another, and they still hold on to Blizzard and Death Blossom.
A tough defense awaits here for phase 2. Their season likely 2 fights away from ending. They're not careful, and Atlanta, they're about to head in with a lot of firepower.
See phase 2 holding close here on the choke. They know they have to take this fight. They need to take this fight aggressively, honestly. They need to take this fight as soon as possible. They really don't want to get caught on the corner and die unfairly.
Death Blossom up and over, took it for him too! Atlanta able to strike immediately, and they're not done yet. He's gonna keep on walking forward. In Atlanta, 2 minutes left in the bank, but they might only need 1. Not just 1 minute, but 1 fight.
And ZP, look at the ults for Atlanta. Astro, 60 to beat, might be able to get in this volume fight, but more importantly, Saucy has retained the Blizzard, and Hawk has another bomb. This is where, if I'm Atlanta, I have no fear. I have no fear here. I know that if all I have to do here is set up Saucy's Blizzard, you know you have the advantage, but Sox is building close. He might catch them.
In phase 2, they have to get on the point. They have to eat the Blizzard. Astro eliminates the other Lucio.
Pika eats Blizzard.
Blizzard eat. There's a chance. Phase 2 still has hope. But for how long? They lose Moira. Pika trying to put the team on his back in their darkest hour. The season on the line.
The Blizzard's huge.
In the middle of the fight. And phase 2, they're holding off Atlanta, but for how long? Kodak still in the fight, but A10 puts an end to it.
my goodness. Pika with the hero play, not only getting the touch, eating the Blizzard, and getting rid of Gator. Finishing Gator, allowing Sox to get that Blizzard out. Huge play from Pika. He's gonna go down late though. He's going for, is he resetting? He's resetting with that much time on the clock?
Atlanta moving forward. Let's give us the point. Let it all end. Moving on forward. A10 frozen it down. And here comes Atlanta back the other way. Sugar Free spinning on the point. 3 down for phase 2. That's it. Atlanta moving on to the gauntlet later in the year and the grand finals tomorrow.
I mean, Pika, cool, but did he reset there? Did he jump off the map to get mech back?
I think so.
When Atlanta's walking back the point?
You know, giveth and taketh away.
The Pika giveth and the Pika taketh away. I mean, I'm not crazy here, right? That's a kind of a questionable move.
I would say very questionable. Yeah,
very questionable.
Assuming that is what happened, I mean,
I didn't have the angle, but how else do you die environmentally on King's Row versus May Reaper Orisa?
Potentially you just walk off. You're just not looking at
well, either way, you know, huge play for Pika before that, and Atlanta. Yeah. Atlanta, they're it's hard for me. I have to collect myself, but Atlanta, they are currently still undefeated. Map score-wise, matches, undefeated as well, moving to the playoffs, and now they're going to grand finals for East, and they have earned their spot at the gauntlet.
Perfection is what we've been seeing from
Astro,
them.
he's Darth Astro wrings his hands. Yeah. Says good.
All according to the plan for the Dark One. But guys, all this means here is that after today, we know what our grand finals matchups are going to be tomorrow for East and West, respectively. We get to take a quick look at that before we sign off here.